Who doesn't love a good chili dog? Well, I hand wrote 30 years ago a chili dog recipe or chili recipe for chili dogs. Hand wrote it 30 years ago. I actually used to sell these and they were a huge hit. So this is not going to be a good chili dog. This is going to be a great chili dog. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it coming up right now. Going to get started making the chili itself, and I'm starting with 2 1/4 pounds of 80/20 chuck. And we're just going to brown this off really good. I'll be adding things to it as it's browning. All right, this meat's just getting going good. So into that, I'm going to add 1 large yellow onion and 6 cloves of minced fresh garlic. That'll start getting those tender along with the meat as it browns. It's going to add some good flavor into that meat. All right, I've been evaporating the water that's came out of this meat, but I am good enough because we're fixing to add more liquid into this in the way of tomatoes. I've got a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes going in. They hold a lot of water. 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Let's get all that worked in good. All right, now we're going to add all of our different seasonings, starting with 1 tablespoon kosher salt. Got 1 tablespoon of chili powder. That's just McCormick chili powder. The only chili flake I got happens to be extremely hot Thai chili. So normally I'd put a tablespoon of red chili pepper or cayenne red chili flakes. So I'm only doing 1 teaspoon. That's it. Now this ingredient here is what gives this a very distinctive flavor. Normally most chili recipes you don't put as much cumin as you would chili powder, but in this one, 1 tablespoon. Got our cumin in. It just makes all the difference. 1 tablespoon of cocoa. Just plain old cocoa. And we're also going to add a bay leaf in the mix. Let's give all this a really good stir and mix all this in. Now I'm going to take a Mexican beer. I got Dos Equis. I'm going to add about half this beer for starters. Half a beer might just do it. Yeah, we're going to hold with that. And guess what's going to happen to the other half? That's already taken on a really good color. Now, hot dog chili is normally thick, and this will be thick before I get through with it. So we're just gonna let this simmer for 1 hour. In 1 hour, I'll come back and I got more things to add. All right, we've been going right at an hour. Now I'm gonna take some just prepared horseradish, going in with a half a teaspoon. Don't take much. The recipe normally calls for 2 serrano peppers, the pickled ones. I think I got 3 in here. You can add whatever you like. We're just gonna mix them in. We're gonna let this go about another 30 minutes. Stir it in real well. Now, if you noticed, I did not drain this meat. There's some oil in there. What do they say? Fat is flavor. You can drain this after the meat's brown. You can get rid of that. But by the time I do the cornstarch slurry, it's going to really emulsify this to where it's through and through. You'll see what I'm talking about. Fat stays in. Now right here at the very end, we're just gonna put a few dashes of paprika, probably somewhere around 1/4 teaspoon. Just a few dashes of sage. About the same, 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon. And then a little bit of oregano. Same thing, just a few dashes. About 1/8 to 1/4. Stir all that in. But now we're going to kind of bind it together. I took 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, mixed it with roughly 1/4 cup of the same beer I used earlier. Get all that in there, stir it in, and that's going to really make this cohesive. It's going to be, like I said earlier, kind of not emulsified, but it'll all bond and bind together like a regular hot dog chili. Give it some thickness. We're going to get this Pits and Spits adjustable flat top grill fired up because I cannot think of, and I do not own, a better grill to do hot dogs on. All right, I have got some charcoal briquettes and I've got my adjustment down to not the last notch, but one up from that. We got some good heat right there, but not too much to where these cook too fast. So I'm just gonna start laying on some of these Nathan hot dogs here. These are Nathan all beef skinless hot dogs. So we got 14 dogs all together. We're gonna be eating here soon. And the cool thing about hot dogs is all you gotta do is just kind of roll them around to see how they're cooking. These are doing good. All right, I'm gonna show you two different ways to do this. There's only one difference, but I've got some of this Mexican blend cheese. I just wanna lay some of that down here on the bottom. Now we're gonna take some of this chili that's still piping hot. See all the steam coming off of it. Just gonna take and put that right on top of the cheese. Now you see how that chili's holding together good? That's what you want it to look like. That's what the cornstarch is for. You could use a different kind of thickener if you're not crazy over cornstarch. That's the way I make it. That will soften and kind of melt that cheese in. Word of warning, these are highly addictive. I made a lot of people fat off of these things, including myself. Now, I like mustard with chili. If you don't like mustard, these are really good just like that. You wouldn't have to go any further. Just that cheese, that chili, and that dog, because it's already got serranos in there. I'm telling you, these are really good. But with that said, I do like mustard. So we're just gonna put this little run of mustard, all fancy like, on both of these. Something about mustard with a chili cheese dog. Whew, man, heck yeah. We're still not finished. Still gotta have some onions on here. These are raw onions. It's the same kind of onion I added to the chili, which is yellow onion. Got a little bite to it. All right, now here's the part you can do two ways, or you can eliminate it altogether. We're gonna go on with some really thin sliced jalapeno. I think you're beginning to find out why I call these Texas Terminator. And on this one, you can take the serrano peppers, the pickled serrano peppers, and you can just doll this thing up with a couple of these. It's gonna add a little bit more fire to it, and there you go. All right, let's give one of these bad boys a try. There you go, Texas Terminator chili dog. Here we go. Oh, it's so good. Fresh bun. You can actually steam your buns too if you want them steamed. We've been doing some mechanic work around here. There's my napkin. Hey, it works. This is an old staple of mine. I hope you give these a try. These are fantastic. And they're not over the top hot. They have a nice spice level, but to me, they're perfect. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.